Howdy, howdy, Devil here, and welcome to a quick test video based on some comments I got, which I love comments. I want to hear comments on this video, and they always get me testing more stuff. I had two great comments, and one is from Deacon Total Warrior. If he has a YouTube channel and does lots of campaigns, go over, subscribe to him. He's, he does everything and he does a lot of Tolkien, Lord of the Rings campaigns and stuff like that too, so he's great fun to watch. And I also got a great comment from Malthias. Basically, Deacon was asking, what about using gyrocopters more like cavalry for the rear charge penalty? And I do normally use my gyrocopters for rear charges, but more at the very end when they run out of ammo. And this is definitely something that's pretty big, because the rear charge penalty is like -14 to leadership, so it's a pretty big deal. And Malthias was saying, could you try and put in other things like rear charges in between shots, because it takes the gyrocopters kind of a long time to reload. Maybe you could optimize your gyrocopters by shooting and then instantly rear charging and then coming back up and shooting again and using some of that reload time to get in a rear charge or a bombing run or something like that. So I thought I'd do some testing just to show what this kind of leadership bomb is capable of. And so I'll go against some lower level units first, and then we're going to go against some high tier units. But there's some very interesting mechanics that some other factions have. Like, for example, Nasty Skulkers is something you will see in a lot of Dowie Greenskin matchups, and they have this ability, Opportunist Murderer. And if they think they're winning, they'll get a boost of +13 melee attack and +40% armor piercing damage. So they're pretty deadly when they do that. So if you can make it so they know they're losing, they'll never get that buff. So we'll just go and do a couple quick fights in here. And first of all, I want to show them getting their buff. And just going up against a group of dwarf warriors so you can see sort of what that battle looks like without any help. So I'm just going to turn these gyrocopters around so they're facing the other way, spread out my dwarf warriors like I normally would in a battle, and we will get that fight going, and we'll go fight those nasty skulkers. And we'll get them in there, and you can see they've already got that buff. Opportunist Murderer for 15 seconds, +30% melee attack, +40% armor piercing, so their armor piercing damage is way up. And you can see they're just taking it to my dwarf warriors. So we'll fast forward that, and you can see they think they're winning, and they're constantly getting this Opportunist Murderer buff. And the dwarf warriors will still do good against these guys, but they're gonna, they have really low leadership as it is, and that's where these gyrocopters kind of really come into play. You can see this battle resolves, and we'll pause it, and we'll see that they got 44 kills on our dwarf warriors. Our dwarf warriors got 62. So we'll end that battle, and we'll rematch, and we're just going to use our gyrocopters to charge. We won't shoot. We'll just use them for the rear charge, and we'll see what that does, and then we'll see what the full, hit by artillery / rear charge bomb can do against a low tier unit, which is definitely, they can be used against low and high tier units, but we'll get these guys, we'll take off fire at will, and we'll put them on melee mode, and now we will get these guys going. And I'm just going to set these guys up in the rear, and you can see they instantly start winning, and I'll just rear charge here, and you can see right away they think they're losing, and that buff is not going to come up again. So, and their leadership takes a big hit. If we go and look at their leadership, the Nasty Skulkers have attack in the rear -14. So, what you do is now take these gyrocopters. Sometimes this is actually pretty risky. Maybe we'll get this, keep these guys going. Are they going to break them? Yeah, they break them. Okay. So -5 leadership, and the Nasty Skulkers are going to break. So pretty quick. But I didn't show any kind of cycle charging. So what if we do the full Monty, where we take a shot and get the damage by artillery debuff and then the rear charge. What can we do? Alright, so we'll get our units right here. Again, I'll take that fire at will off just so I don't get a shot going in, so we can see what the whole thing looks like. And we'll start the battle. And get these guys here. Okay, and they engage. Get the fight going. We'll take some shots. Okay. Okay, now you can see, if you look at their leadership, oh, they're already showing -6, but damaged by artillery. And they're getting damage sustained because that's a pretty big deal. But we'll come on in, get the rear charged, and it's an instant rout. They basically have the damaged, attacked in the rear -14 and damaged by artillery -10. So it's like a giant leadership bomb. And, you know, it's something I've never really used and never really thought about it, but they still have this buff on because it's on them for 15 seconds, and this battle has taken, you know, only 19 seconds, or 21 seconds rather, but really, really fast. This battle can resolve if you also use your gyrocopters for that double bomb where you hit them, and they get the damage by artillery debuff on them for -10 to their leadership, and then attacked in the rear, it's -24 leadership. Anything with really lower leadership is really going to suffer in that engagement. So where you can really stack these sorts of things up are in matches that you really want to resolve in your favor. And so we're going to go to the Beastmen, and the Beastmen have a ability called Frenzy. A lot of units have it, and it is contingent on the leader. Oh shit. Okay, concede defeat. It's contingent on their leadership being over 50%. So we'll go and grab, I'm just going to grab a unit that I'd want to generally use but protect the Grumbling Guard. And I'm also going to get just a group of Rangers so that we can stack up our debuffs here. But I'm not going to do it just right away. I'll show a couple of battles so we can see sort of what that looks like. So the Beastmen, we got Bestigo Herd 1050. And they have this Primal Fury, Frenzy Primal Fury. Basically, it is disabled if their leadership is lower than 50%. So if their leadership's higher than 50%, they have a +5 melee attack, and they're immune to psychology. Not that we have anything that causes fear and or terror. But if you're using Clan Angren, you would have a few units, the ethereal units, and you could combine all these things together with an ethereal unit to pretty quickly rout a powerful unit like that. And yeah, I might even give that a try just for fun. But so we'll start that battle, and I'll show these things in. Oh, I've got the wrong gyrocopter. I wanted to get the armor-piercing one. No matter, it'll show the same thing. So I want these Bugmans, these Rangers, just facing the other way, and I want these guys facing the other way because I want to see, you know, how does this battle resolve when I'm not supporting anything. And it can be quite atrocious, and we'd expect the Grumbling Guard is going to struggle, but these two units are about the same. Yeah, you see these guys have a massive charge bonus, and you know, it's a pretty big deal. They're crushing our Grumbling Guard, and they've got that Primal Fury because their leadership is over 50%, so they got an extra 5 melee attack, which is a pretty big deal. It's allowing them to really go to town on our Grumbling Guard. Now our Grumbling Guard, you know, maybe they win this sometimes. They probably lose 9 times out of 10, something like that, if they're on their own. And you see you're going to have an engagement on like that. You're going to want to do something about it. So we'll get in here. I'm going to quit that battle and rematch. And if I was using the Gyrocopter with Brimstone guns that have armor piercing, it might be a little bit different the way this will resolve. But what we're basically going to try and do is get our Grumbling Guard up front. I'm just going to let these Rangers shoot, and I'll get these Gyrocopters shooting, and we will go in there, fight that battle. We're going to get these guys over. Now we're getting the full debuffs. Okay, get some shots in. And then I'll get in there for the rear charge. Okay, and boom. So you can see now their leadership is way down. Their primal fury is gone. And they're down to 5 leadership because they're attacked in the rear, -14, damaged by artillery, -10, under missile fire, -5, faster and stronger enemies nearby, -4, are losing currently. So we'll get that going, and I'm just going to try and get these guys. Are these guys going to break? I don't know. They may, there they go. They're going to break. So you can see, you know, we still took some significant damage with our Grumbling Guard, but you're going to have units like this where you want to engage, and you know the engagement is going to be very atrocious, but you can actually use that rear charge penalty to make a pretty big difference. So if we, let's just end that battle, and we can even do better if we start to use our bombs. So when we you know, again, I don't have the armor-piercing gyrocopter, but it doesn't matter for the leadership bomb. But what I'm going to try and do in this match, or in this little one, is trying to really maximize everything. So we'll get our great weapons, okay. Get these guys going. And we'll get this started. Get these guys going. So we'll just look for our bombs. Okay, get that shot going. So I'll get another shot. Now I'm just going to move these guys up. If I was doing this really good, I would. So I just kind of trying to go in between shots and get some damage. Gets another shot in. And then I'm going to go in for the rear charge. And that is just going to absolutely crack them. And there they go. So that Bestigor herd only got 1 kill in that. Now they kind of got a little goofy and everything else like that when they went sideways, but you can see our Grumbling Guard is 74 out of 75 models in that same engagement. Now, you know, when we're thinking about this, gyrocopters are incredibly micro-intensive as it is, and this is as micro-intensive as it could possibly get. You know, you're trying to cycle your bombs and your rear charges in between your shots to take advantage of the downtime for your shots and this sort of thing. But I guess the point of the capability of this gyrocopter, and you're usually going to have rangers or these types of things, is that, you know, focus fire really matters in this game. And you know, this is something that I will rear charge with my gyrocopters once I'm out of ammo, but you can see that, you know, adding that rear charge for the -14 leadership can actually, even if you don't break a low tier unit, you can take a high tier unit like these Bestigors and get rid of something like Primal Fury, or you can use that that sort of quick bomb to really hurt a unit of Swordmasters of Hoeth. And you know, often you'll have rangers, so you can have that extra -5 leadership. And you know, maybe we can take a look for the Swordmasters of Hoeth. So just out of curiosity, if we get a really amazing unit that is vulnerable to being below half health, you know, it is a Swordmasters of Hoeth for sure. And you know, let's yes, I'm going to quit. Okay, end the battle. And maybe I'll get my brimstone gun version, and brimstone gun, and we'll go to high elves, and we'll grab a Swordmaster of Hoeth. I think they're what, 1300, and these guys have martial prowess until their hit points are below 50% of their base, and they can just absolutely wreck Grumbling Guard. But if we try to maximize just this engagement, because we know the Grumbling Guard is very important to our army and our leadership, you know, maybe we can pull that around, because, you know, I'll just run a quick battle just for fun. This is just fun testing and stuff like that, to look at the concept of how to maximize the use of a gyrocopter. I'm not saying that this is easy by any means. It's most certainly not. But I'm just going to turn my gyrocopters the other way, and we'll just run this fight with the Grumbling Guard. These Swordmasters will absolutely demolish our Grumbling Guard because they have 10 more stat points, and they have, you know, bonus versus infantry, I think, anti-infantry, and just look at them chew through our Grumbling Guard. And this is active until they're at half health, this martial prowess, and that's 14 stat points, and it's a pretty big deal. So they're absolutely crushing us. And you can see, are they down to half health? No. So they finished that battle with more than half health, and they still have their martial prowess. So we'll see if we can actually change that math a little bit by adding some of our own focus fire, where, you know, your rangers, your quarrelers, your Bugman's rangers, your rangers with great weapons can all shoot over your line. So they can be back here, and they can definitely shoot over your line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my brimstone guns. Obviously they'll shoot, but they'll bomb on their way in to sort of break up their charge. But we'll start that battle. We'll get these guys going. Okay. Take a shot and see if I can do this really well. Okay, go ahead and take a shot. Good. Get in there. Drop the bomb. See, they're already below half health. Boom. They're already gone. I didn't even need to do a rear charge. So, you know, pretty impressive what you can do with a little bit of focus fire. And maybe let's see if we, instead of going for that second bombing run, if we do the rear charge, if we can break them. Just out of curiosity. I don't know that we could, but we break up their charge, and with one set of bombs, and we won't go for the second bombing run. Let's just see if we can bust them up a little better. Okay, get these guys here. These guys here. Okay. Get our gyrocopters back here. So we get in one shot. Okay, I missed with my bombs. So we get in another shot. Get in a rear charge. There we go. And now their martial prowess is down. They're below. Their leadership is -6. And, well, damage in the rear, there they go. So this is kind of hopefully this isn't really comprehensive testing to answer the question Deacon had, what about using the gyrocopters more like cavalry? But obviously, your gyrocopters, their charge bonus is 25. They don't have good melee attack, but that brings their melee attack up to 55 when they're charging, and their weapon strength comes up. Now, they don't have a lot of armor piercing, but the big thing they do with that rear charge is that leadership bomb, because you take one shot at least to give them the damaged by artillery. Let's see if I can't grab these guys and see what their leadership is there. Yeah, that damage by artillery of -10, and then the attack in the rear of -14. That's powerful against anything that's not unbreakable, and it makes such a difference. Like these Swordmasters of Hoeth, left alone, absolutely wreck the Grumbling Guard. And in this case, the Grumbling Guard still has 72 models left. These guys only got 3 kills. Now, we had the Rangers in here. It would be not quite as happy a story if we didn't have a little bit of support from them. Obviously, this is sort of a combined arms to do one thing, and your army is never this easy. You're going to have units all over the damn place, and it's going to be hard to remember what you're doing. But if you can focus at all on your micro, focusing in on some of your very important units, ensuring those engagements go very well, can be pretty beneficial. And this is exactly one where you'd want to make sure your Grumbling Guard is a unit that you want to survive, because they're going to buff your other units up, and that's going to make a pretty big deal because they have that Vigor Aura buff. So you can focus one unit of Rangers against the enemy coming into the Grumbling Guard, and one gyrocopter, or even 2 units of gyrocopters on that same thing. You get one bomb in and then one rear charge, and you're already, they have 24, they have almost half their health left, just a little less than half, and they're broken. Now, there's spells that are going to be going off and other leadership things that are going to be happening with their own leaders, but this is actually a very, very interesting concept in that, I think the rear charge stuff is probably pretty obvious. It wasn't obvious to me. I don't play with cavalry. So, the idea of getting rear charges in was really only something I did when I used all of my ammo. But using these rear charges in as just leadership bombs in with, your gyrocopters can be pretty powerful. Super micro intensive, especially if your gyros get stuck in there. And it's very easy for your gyros to get stuck in the ground. It is so annoying. You can't get them out if you're not very careful with them. But using them as cavalry for the rear charge penalty in combination with the damage they do, even though it's not big, and the damage by artillery, that's a minus 24 hit to leadership, which is a pretty big deal. You put in your rangers and they're going to do some damage. Rangers, thunderers, quarrelers, rangers with great weapons, bugman rangers, whatever it is, these things synergize really nicely because they put a different debuff on leadership than the gyrocopters do. And then on top of everything, I used one set of bombs to kind of break up their charge a little bit, but I never even used both sets of bombs. I had another set of bombs ready to go. I could have easily finished off this battle and then picked up this gyrocopter and gone, brought these guys back around into my line, over this way to try to rear charge, brought my gyrocopters in, do a bombing run, take one shot and do a rear charge and just go down the line type of thing. Now, easy to say, incredibly hard to execute. Something that I don't think I could do very effectively on a regular basis, but having done this testing, I am going to try this for sure if I have a gyrocopter build, especially against the greenskins, because, or the greenskins or the Skaven. Skaven can be a little tricky to bring gyrocopters because they have lots of answers to flyers. They have good artillery and stuff like that, but they don't have very good leadership as it is, and you can drop a leadership bomb pretty quick. Let's go take a look at a pretty decent Skaven unit, and we'll see kind of what we can do without our rangers. So you can tell I do this testing a lot, so I'm so used to hitting rematch, getting all my numbers, putting them in the spreadsheet, and doing that sort of thing. So let's grab a Skaven unit, and so Skaven, what's a good unit? Decent unit, Plague Monk. Now they don't have armor piercing, but you might see them. They have this. It's a big deal. They have frenzy. And they have this strength in numbers if their hit points are above 50%. So they technically have +8 melee defense and +8 melee attack. So 16 extra stat points. So we're going to let's bring like a lower tier unit like Dwarf Warriors. We won't bring these guys. And we'll bring our gyrocopters like that. And this is a unit, where are they? So they say 750, gutter runners. Plague Monks. Okay, units that's 750 against a unit that's 450. Let's go and just see what we can do to turn that battle in our favor. And I'll take off fire at will so I can make sure that I just get in one shot to see if we can do it in one shot or not. I have no idea. I haven't done this test before. I'm just kind of curious, and I imagine you guys are curious too. Like, how is this going to resolve? Okay. We'll get these guys here. Okay. Shoot. I took one shot by accident. Not the end of the world. Okay, so take a shot. Get that rear charge in. Okay. And here we go. So we've got Frenzy off because their leadership is 17. Their attack to the rear, -14. Damage by artillery, -10. Losing currently, but they have more than half their health. And so let's see if we can get these guys out. Okay. See if we can get another shot in. And get another rear charge in. There we go. There we got him broken. So, you know, pretty good. I don't know. Will Plague Monks beat Dwarf Warriors with no support? Let's check. Like, these Dwarf Warriors, what, have lost 2 models? Yeah, these guys got 2 kills. Let's just run that battle again. I just want to see the Plague Monks versus the Dwarf Warriors. I don't know who wins that. I think the Dwarf Warriors will do pretty good in that because these guys don't have armor piercing and they don't have a whole lot of armor. But just out of curiosity, we'll see. Yeah, the video's over, by the way, for anyone who wanted to see how do these work as cavalry. The answer is awesome. A massive leadership bomb. You know, this is just me doing some testing because I'm curious. Okay, so we'll get these guys going up against the Plague Monks. Now, how do the Plague Monks do against our... Oh, they're winning. Yeah, they are winning. They're winning pretty handily, actually. So there you go. What a difference, eh? Are they going to totally win? They don't have really good leadership, but when they think they're winning, like when you're winning, if we look, that's one of the things, like you get this inspired by ability, winning current combat. Yeah, that ability is pretty bad. It's pretty bad for dwarfs because it gives them +8 or +6 leadership and +8 melee defense if their hit points are above 50%. So it makes the Skaven even more difficult to deal with. So yeah, it looks like they absolutely crush. Holy, they really are crushing us. Well, that means that requires a grudge to be settled. I never used my bombs last time, so I just want to see. You can go on to the next video you're watching now. I'm just doing testing because I want to satisfy myself in crushing these Plague Monks. You know, I just want to see them die as fast as dwarvenly possible. Okay, these guys here. Okay, I'll put these guys here. Now, start the battle. Now, let's get over here. Okay. Get that bomb off. Turn around. Get one shot in. Get in for a rear charge. Yes. Not bad. They're wavering. There we go. Well, they killed 6 this time. Well, whatever. Yeah, so that's really effective. So, hopefully that addressed the comments. Gyrocopters are awesome in the role of cavalry for rear charges. Thanks, Deacon. That's fantastic. What a massive bomb you can put on a unit by making sure your quarrelers or you've got missile infantry hitting them. You hit them once with your gyrocopters for the damage by artillery, and then rear charge them for the -14, and basically you're giving them -29 leadership in a matter of seconds. You know, 10 seconds you're going to be able to do that, plus you're putting damage on them. So I mean, that's crazy. You know, -30 leadership. Like, how many units do these guys have? Like, some of these guys have 45 leadership. I mean, you're going to instantly rout them without even using your bombs. You put your bombs in there for the damage, and we saw what that could do against the Swordmasters of Hoeth, and really very specifically to get units like these that have over 50% of their health. They get this martial prowess, +12 melee defense, +2 melee attack. We saw what it could do against the Beastmen, specifically the Bestigors, who have this Frenzy, Primal Fury, Frenzy, same thing. Or I wonder if it's exactly the same thing. Let's see. This is +5 melee attack, +12% speed, immune to psychology, +8% charge bonus. So basically, if their leadership is below 50%, they're going to lose that +5 melee attack. So I want to see Primal Fury. Is it the same as Frenzy? So what is that? 8, 5, and 12. So let's look at the greenskins. 550. Where are you? Frenzy, 12, 8, and 8. So Frenzy is a little bit different, and Primal Fury. So Frenzy actually looks a little more powerful, +8 melee attack for Frenzy instead of +5 melee attack. But still, same idea. There are a lot of units with Frenzy that if their leadership is lower than 50%, you just take that away from them. One shot and one rear charge is going to remove Frenzy from pretty much anything. Well, maybe not anything, but a lot of units. It's going to make a pretty big deal. Do these guys? No, they don't have Frenzy. So hope you found that interesting. Would love to hear some comments on that. Have any of you out there really tried to cycle in your rear charges between gyrocopter shots to take advantage of that extra time, or take a shot, do a quick bombing run, and like I showed, go in, bombing run, go back, and your guns are reloaded. You can take shots instantly and then go for a rear charge, or really try and take advantage of that concept, which is really, it has to be correct. If you had the capability in the micro to actually pull it off, that has to be the way to do it, because you absolutely minimize the downtime in between what you're doing, but you're maximizing your micro, and it could be very difficult. But noticing that you're shooting something in the back and just going in for a quick rear charge is not super micro intensive. You can definitely notice that, or notice that a unit is on low leadership. You just fly your gyrocopters to it, take one shot and rear charge, and the unit's broken. If it's on lower leadership, you're definitely going to break that unit. Even if it's a Lord unit or something like that, you're going to be able to break it. So if you're fighting against a Lord, even a big Lord like Kolek or something like that, and you notice his leadership is a little low, you could take one of your gyrocopters, shoot him even with the steam gun to get the -10 hit by artillery, shoot him with one of your ranged units if you can get any shots to get the -5 leadership for hit by missiles, and then rear charge him, and that's 30 leadership gone, and you can rout off a pretty important leader like a Lord or this type of thing. You could, if you're playing Lizardmen or things that have things that are prone to rampage, maybe you can rampage a unit while it's sitting in with a group of Slayers. Maybe your Slayers are really close or far enough away from something where it's not going to matter. You take a shot and rear charge something that rampages, it starts to rampage, and then you catch them with your Slayers. There's all kinds of scenarios you can imagine this idea of actively using your gyrocopter's ability to rear charge. Even though it doesn't do a whole lot of damage in the rear charge, it doesn't need to. It does a whole lot of leadership reduction with the -10 hit by artillery and -14 attacked on the rear. It's pretty crushing and pretty devastating. So thanks, Deacon, and it's, and Mon Matthias, thanks. That's just, I really appreciate it. Love to hear comments from other people as to this type of thing, and if you're gonna try it after this video. And sometimes people will watch videos like a year after, and they'll comment on them, and if you've used this, watch this video and used it to good effect and have a replay, I'd love it. I'd love to see a replay. Send your replay to my email. It's surugby@hotmail.com, and just put Dowie replay with gyrocopter rear charges. I would absolutely love to see this in action if I don't get a chance to do it myself. As an active focus fire leadership bomb tactic within a battle. I'd really, really love to see this sort of thing. So that's all I have to say. Hope you found it interesting. Thanks again, Deacon and Mon Matthias. Just appreciate it. Love the comments. Looking forward to more. That's all I have to say. So I will see you soon.